A search is underway for a 3-year-old British girl who's gone missing in the Algarve area of Portugal.
Netflix documentary has a senior former police officer saying that he still believes we will discover what happened to Madeleine McCann.
The disappearance of Madeleine McCann. She's been missing over 10 years.
There's no way Kate and I are involved in this abduction.
Somebody knows what's happened to Madeleine McCann.
I've been watching the Madeleine McCann Netflix series, and me and Jessica have been discussing all of our theories and everything. We have a lot of opinions that we want to share. None of these opinions are fact, obviously. No disrespect or anything, but obviously this is a high profile case that's been going on for years, and I remember when it all happened when we were younger.
Was fighting for Madeleine.
I think the most difficult thing, George, was the realisation at that point that the police weren't looking for Madeleine, and so that was the thing that hurt the most.
Are you sure this is the man you saw?
Yes, that is as I remember the man.
So this basically just goes through and says, at 9:05, Jerry McCann checked on the children. He noticed the door was open wider. Matthew Oldfield checked the McCann apartment at 9:15 and saw the twins sleeping, but did not remember he saw Madeleine. At 9:15, McCann friend named Jane Turner went to check on her and children and witnessed a man walking with a child in his arms. At 10 o'clock, an Irish family vacating the resort saw a man carrying a child on the beach. So, theory number 1, an intruder. Kate McCann said that when she arrived at the apartment at 10 p.m, she knew a crime had been committed because Madeleine had been put to sleep with her favourite stuffed animal named Cuddle Cat, and Cuddle Cat has been removed out of Madeleine's reach. She didn't think Madeleine had just wandered off without Cuddle Cat, so she believed that this was abduction. That's it. Burglaries and robberies in the area in which the McCanns were staying had increased fourfold only a month prior to their visit. Suspected that a burglar came in through the patio door, the one which the parents had been checking through, and when Madeleine was sleeping nearest to it, and was robbing the place, and when Madeleine woke up, so he took her. This is supposedly the man on the beach. It's also suspected that Madeleine may have been abducted by a gang of paedophiles. Only a couple years prior to Madeleine's disappearance, a 10-year-old girl was sexually assaulted by a paedophile gang in the same apartment complex. On the top of that, the day prior to Madeleine's disappearance, 2 men were seen prowling the resort, pretending to be charity collectors and going door to door trying to get guests to donate. They were spotted many times a day between the disappearance between 3:30 and 5. Finally, it's speculated that Madeleine was taken by 2 blonde men that many people think were trying to find a child for a wealthy infertile couple. These 2 men were seen walking around the resort many days and only spoke in Dutch. They were staying in the room above 5A. But if they didn't speak English, how do people know they were looking for a child to give to her? Yeah, that makes no sense. If she was abducted, the man on the beach would be the biggest clue. If he did take her to the beach, there could have been a fishing boat or just a privately owned boat that he took onto with him, and that would be the last thing to ever be seen of little Madeleine. I don't personally believe that one.
No, that sounds really stupid, far-fetched, and like, where's the evidence?
Yeah, and it's just random people staying on the resort. It could have been anyone. If she was abducted, it could have been anybody. But yeah, the Dutch thing is silly. There's a driver theory. I personally don't believe this one. I think this one's really stupid.
What is it?
You heard this one?
I don't think so.
About her being hit by a car.
No.
I think it's really silly. That she woke up and went to find her parents. She wandered out the patio door and into the streets of the resort. While out, Madeleine went into the main road and was struck. The driver panicked and put her body into the car and drove off to hide it. But there's not much depth to the theory.
No, that's just people.
And her fingerprints would have been seen on the patio door.
Yeah, this is just people speculating from literally nothing.
No,
just making theories up from thin air. I'm interested in theories that
here's the
actually
theory.
have evidence and shit.
Okay, well here's the murder theory. The theory that she was murdered by her parents, which everyone believes.
I believe this one.
First, the night of the disappearance, Kate said they've taken Madeleine. Who's they've?
Yeah, that would not.
She
be
could have just walked
reaction.
off, or she could have been in the bathroom.
My reaction would have been, "Oh my god, Madeleine's gone!" Like,
where is she? And you go looking around the apartment
also,
and stuff. Before you shout
the fact that she ran away when, like, you walk into the room, yeah, you've got 3 children that are supposed to be in the room. You walk in, one of your children's gone. It's clearly not safe. The window's open. Someone's got in and taken your child. Yeah.
Would you not check there's still someone? Not still someone.
Yeah, she doesn't do any of that. She doesn't take the twins with her, wake them up, take them with her so they're safe. She runs away from the freaking building, leaves them alone so that someone could come and get the other 2 children, and runs and says they've taken her. If she really thought someone had taken her child, wouldn't she protect the other 2?
Just assume they've taken.
Yeah, it just makes no sense.
That's when someone isn't there, you say is missing, not that they've been taken.
No.
Why would she say that? And they even asked her that and she didn't respond. They searched the apartment, the beach and around the tapas bar and they went to sleep. They didn't search again until 6 the next morning. Kate reported Madeleine missing around 10 p.m. but refused to answer the questions of authority, even after being told she was damaging the case.
That's another thing. When they said in the documentary that they went to sleep.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit weird. Like, if most missing people were found within the first 24 hours, so you'd stay up all night.
Yeah, if my child went missing, right?
You don't have a child, but...
Let's just say, right, if
my cat went missing.
No, if my child went missing, I wouldn't be sleeping at all. I'd be up the entire freaking
Yeah,
night.
I do find that quite weird. It's like, oh...
Well, let's just go to bed, have a little nap, because I'm tired.
I know. That is quite strange. I thought that was really weird. The police decided to recreate the crime scene, which is often done to figure out what it may have looked like when a crime occurred. Kate and Jerry McCann did not attend this reconstruction despite police asking them to. And in the documentary,
can I say, in defence of that one not attending the reconstruction,
yeah,
I will say what came to my mind, even though I do believe
that they don't want to watch
do with it. They don't, like, it would be triggering to recreate that situation.
Yeah, okay, but it's the best way to find out the information. So if police were like, let's recreate this part, and then like, no, but that couldn't happen.
They might find it really difficult to do because they're traumatised. But I'm not defending them because they.
But in the documentary, by the way, spoiler, it says that it's not this part isn't true, and that they said their availability. But just because you go on available down that day doesn't mean that you don't refuse to turn up. Do you know what I mean? Jerry claims he didn't leave the dinner table at the tapas bar for longer than 5 minutes at a time. This was contradicted when one of the friends told police that Kate was moaning about Jerry being gone for a long time watching the football game, which means his alibi is weak.
His pram pointing down that way. Because I think if you'd have been looking at me, because I would have said something, because I would have said about, because Kate had been moaning that you'd been gone a long time watching the football.
I'm almost certain that when I came out, I came over and he was here, and I was like that. That's my memory of it, is like Jez is 6'3" or something and looking up.
Speaking of alibi, around the time the man on the beach was spotted was when Kate found Madeleine missing. It's not confirmed whether Jerry was at the tapas bar or not when she did this. The family who saw the man on the beach say they were 80% sure the man was Jerry, which is even included in the documentary. Which some people don't think they look alike, but I mean. The McCanns also lied to their friends back home in the UK. They told them the window in the apartment had been shattered and that Madeleine was taken through the window. The McCanns' own lawyer had to come out and say that there was no evidence of there being a break-in. So that's just to back up their own shit to their friends who maybe believed it too.
Can I also just say, so he went to check on the children, right, the dad, and he was gone for longer than he's saying.
I believe that he killed her and took her, and Kate appeared when he was gone, and then he arrived shortly after she claimed.
My theory, personally, can I say mine?
Yeah.
So in the documentary, I never knew this before the documentary. I think this is the only new information I've found out, really, because it's been years. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But Madeleine went on a boat ride. I told you about this earlier. She jumped in for the other girl's hat that she was friends with from one of the other family that she was hanging out with. I dropped her hat in the sea. She dived in to rescue it. The people in the boat from the youth group, they panicked, dragged her back in, saved her. Apparently you can die from like secondary drowning or something like this, hours or even a day after the incident.
But there's no reason for them to cover that up.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they carry Maddie back to the hotel, as they said. She says she's sleepy, which is also a symptom of that. She's too tired to even walk. They take her back, put her in bed, they give her Calpol or whatever the hell they gave to sedate the children. They give it to all of them, not thinking anything of it, even though they're doctors and they should have really thought about that. They don't realise that interacts with the whole secondary drowning thing. She dies, he goes to check her, realises, panics, that's why he's gone for longer, and she's moaning that he's gone.
Yeah, but you can't be done for giving your kids Calpol. It would have to have been something dodgy for them to cover it up. Because they can't go, oh, she died because you gave her Calpol and she also drowned and you should have known that, because anyone can give her.
But it's still kind of neglect.
Or not thinking that it's because of the drowning, they think she's just ill or unwell and they give her Calpol to make her feel better. There was no reason for them to cover
Yeah,
that
but they
up.
might get in shit for giving it to the other two twins.
No, you can give Calpol or anything. And everyone's
Not
saying
if
it's
they're not
Calpol.
ill.
It's no legal thing to say you can't give your kids. You know, the one I believe is about, I read it on Twitter, about the IVF treatment for Madeleine was done in the hospital they both worked in, and that Kate had access and she's got the sperm, so Jerry's not the father, and that's why she has the eye deformity, because that's what happens when you mutilate the sperm. He found out whilst we were on holiday and killed her, and then I didn't believe this, and then I saw in the documentary that it's, a lab in Portugal proved that Jerry is not the dad, but they deny it, so I actually kind of believe that one. And the fact that she's got the eye deformity from it.
That does sound...
That is actually quite realistic.
But then I'm like, why would he kill her?
Just out of anger, because he seems like a weirdo anyway.
Yeah, he does give me a really creepy vibe, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the interviews when they're like asking him if he killed her, seriously, you should watch them, they're really fucking weird.
Did you kill your daughter?
No, that's an emphatic no. I mean, the ludicrous thing is what's been purported from Portugal is that Madeleine died in the apartment by an accident and we hid her body. Well, when did she have the accident and died? Because the only time she was left unattended was when we were at dinner. So if she died then, how could we have disposed or hidden her body, when there was an immediate search? It's just nonsense. So, and if she died when we were in the apartment or fell and did something, why would we cover that up?
That interview just then, he was like, ask the police dog.
Yeah, like laughing
ask the
about
police
it,
dog,
yeah.
Sarah. And it's like, what?
So you don't have any explanation for that?
Ask the dogs, Sandra.
I've just always thought that he's had a really weird reaction to it. I'm not a parent, but I don't know.
I mean, they try and justify that in the documentary that they can't show emotion. It's bullshit.
Yeah, and I get that, like, they're not going to be distraught constantly 24/7. Like, they can be allowed to be seen laughing and shit.
They didn't shed a tear.
But
not a single tear.
Bit of information there, and somebody definitely knows something, and they may not realise that it's linked, but there might be something that they remember from that day or around that day which is vital. It just takes a few things to...
There's also one part where he comes out after being an investigator. I don't know if you saw it, maybe I was watching it.
Is it the one where they're flashing cameras and there's 3 of them stood there and he goes to walk away and he pulls them back?
He comes out at the police station after being questioned for like 5 hours straight. They questioned him.
No surprise.
And he comes out and he trips on the curb and he starts laughing and joking about it. Like, you've just been questioned for hours on end about killing your own daughter. Like, is that the reaction you'd have?
None of us know the reaction you'd have because none of us have
I know, but still, I mean, I think if that was me, I'd trip and get angry. Like, I'd be so stressed, tired, frustrated.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be laughing about tripping over a curb, or maybe I would, I don't know, maybe he's delirious from tiredness, who knows.
I'm sorry, but I genuinely believe the dad did it for some unknown reason, or he was a pedo, because there's even a thing about him being a paedophile, because there's a video of him going, oh yeah, daddy likes that to Maddie.
This is all allegedly, by the way, I don't want to get crap for this. Allegedly, we're not saying it's fact, but...
That's why I wasn't there when she was discovered as missing. And it just so happens that it was Kate's turn on the... to check in on them when she was missing. See what I mean?
That's true.
There was 8 of them rotating. How come it just so happened that it was the dad's between the dad and the mum's turn that she goes missing?
Do you know what? The one part where I did feel genuine sorry for them, where I did nearly cry, was when she said, one of the people said she heard the howling of the mother.
Oh God.
When she figured out she was gone. So I do kind of believe that the mother maybe at first wasn't aware.
And Jerry did it behind her back.
Yeah.
But now she knows. A couple of days after the disappearance, one of the McCann friends went to the police and told them that she witnessed Jerry and his friend David Payne, who was also at the resort, having a discussion where they were talking very sexually and making sexual gestures about Madeleine. Which makes me think he is actually a pervert.
Yeah, I was reading something earlier. Isn't that the thing where they were sat there and he was going, oh yeah, she does it like this, and he had his finger in his mouth and was sucking it and then rubbing his nipples. That's what I read earlier. No, seriously.
I've not heard that.
That's what I read earlier.
That's disgusting.
That's what he was saying. That she was so wrong, so wrong. But then I don't know, because where's that coming from, or is it just made up from the internet?
No, but some of these are videos that people have actually seen. I've even seen the one of him going, yes, twist around for daddy. It's whilst they're on holiday and she's wearing like a little pink dress by the pool and like a little pink hat. It's one of the videos they show on Sky News after she goes missing, but they don't have sound. It's just like a gif of her turning around and smiling.
Oh yeah.
That one. I'm pretty sure. Another one I find weird, they only show pictures of her on holiday in Portugal. There's no baby photos of her or anything that they put up.
Yeah, but like I said earlier,
there's like one of them at home.
Because they were in Portugal for like 3 months and refused to leave till they found her.
But I feel like
they wouldn't have had many photos of her with.
But even after that, I feel like pictures would have been released. The day after the disappearance, a CPS employee of England named Yvonne Martin, this is the one I was telling you about, called Kate and offered any help she could provide in finding Madeleine. Kate told Yvonne that her daughter was kidnapped by a couple despite no evidence of it. She's making up bullshit to people. Yvonne went to the McCann apartment and she was also on vacation in Portugal. She was speaking to them when David Payne, which is the one that was making sexual things about her, started whispering in Jerry's ear and ushered the McCanns back into the apartment while telling Yvonne they didn't need her help. Yvonne said she felt like she knew Payne and that through her career in child protective services and she recognised him. She even wrote a letter to British police saying she believes that parents were involved in the disappearance and asked that they looked into David Payne. So there's a whole conspiracy that one of the friends was also a pedo with Jerry, and they took advantage of her, which makes me believe Jerry did it. Yvonne even claimed that David was wearing similar clothing to what the man on the beach was said to have been wearing. So some people claim it's David, some people claim it was Jerry. A fund was also set up for donations in helping to find Madeleine. This fund was raised thousands of dollars and McCann's paid the mortgage for them. I heard this before I saw this Twitter thread. Right.
That's the worst thing. I do think the dad mainly is guilty. He just gives me really weird vibes. Really
and the mum
weird.
Maybe doesn't know, or she does know and she just can't say anything because she's scared of the dad or something.
Well,
or she knows she's too far in the lies.
Yeah, they'd be done for life.
She'd be done for prison whether she had the involvement of it or not, because she knew about Jerry.
Accomplished murderer or covering it up or whatever it's called.
On May the 12th, 2007, Madeleine's 4th birthday, Kate wrote this in a book she published about the case. We ate mostly in silence, concentrating on the kids. I couldn't eat much and alcohol was completely off my agenda. Fiona recalls that Jerry and I were completely shut down that day, barely even able to talk. Although our friends tried to remain cheerful and behave normally to get us through it, they all felt awkward about being at this lovely villa in the sunshine in these circumstances. There was no cake. Jerry did attempt a toast, but he was visibly upset and couldn't manage much more than I can't even say happy birthday to my daughter before choking up. The physical loss was more intense than ever. I ached for Madeleine. And then there's a photo of the particular dinner they're talking about, and they're laughing and smiling and they've got flowers.
Oh, this is when they celebrated her 4th birthday?
Yeah, so she writes in her book that they couldn't smile, they could barely even talk, they could barely even say Madeleine's name, just smiling and laughing, and yeah.
Wow.
May 29th, 3 weeks after Madeleine's disappearance, the McCann couple went on a European tour to speak about Madeleine. They left their twins in the 5A apartment with their nanny. Left them. In the same town Madeleine was abducted from.
Seriously?
And why they weren't done for child neglect anyways. Even if they left them with a nanny, you still wouldn't want to leave your kids in the same apartment. Why would you go back to that?
Jesus Christ.
On the tour, the McCanns constantly rendered to Madeleine as was, saying she was so perfect, she was so sweet, which implies she's no longer alive despite there being no evidence of her being dead. So why are they saying why aren't they saying she is perfect? Also in the documentary they say how the McCanns believe she's still alive and believe that one day she is coming home.
Yeah, so why are they using present tense?
Yeah, exactly. Next, cuddle cat. After Madeleine's disappearance, Kate McCann was rarely ever seen without Madeleine's favourite cuddle cat. She said she kept it because she had a daughter sent to her. 17 days before police brought canines to investigate the crime scene as well as Madeleine's belongings, Kate washed Cuddle Cat, destroying precious forensic evidence. Had Kate's story about Cuddle Cat being moved was true, she ruined any chance of finding the abducted scent. Why would you randomly wash it?
Yeah, also
she kept it for the scent. Then
yeah,
why would you wash
so why
it to get rid of the scent?
To get rid of her scent?
She just totally contradicts
herself. That makes literally no... I think if they'd smelt that thing, it would have had the scent of death on it. Which is why she washed it. It makes no sense, you wouldn't.
Or any kind of forensic thing to say that they were involved.
You just wouldn't wash it, would you? Especially if it smelt like Madeleine.
Well, she's saying she kept it because it smelled like her and then she washed it to get rid of the scent.
Which, why? Like, that's got to be the most damning thing ever. She didn't answer the question when they asked her why she washed it.
Finally, the dogs. The police had one dog trained to sniff out blood and one trained to sniff out body. The dog sniffed out blood and Madeleine's toys behind the apartment couch, in the bedroom, the wardrobe, the patio door, and the rental car, and the key itself. But then we've seen in the documentary that apparently this is not true and they didn't find, or the DNA couldn't match, right? But they said the DNA can match from the DNA that found in the car. They can match Madeleine's because they need 50% of Jerry's and 50% of Kate's, but it didn't match. But couldn't that be because Jerry's not her dad, right? Which they also found DNA, which they also DNA tested in the documentary, and the documentary even states that Jerry's not her dad. That the DNA wouldn't match because it wouldn't match Jerry's DNA because it's not.
Yeah,
it's good.
I remember hearing about this when it was happening.
What?
About the blood in the boot of the car, and I remember our parents being like, it's so obviously the parents, like why are they not being arrested, blah blah blah. And the thing for me is that they fled Portugal the second they were accused, which they swore that they wouldn't leave until they found her, which of course they couldn't have stayed there forever, they couldn't still be living there now, but they were very quick to leave her behind the second they were.
But back to the rental car being rented, what was it, 14 days after, and they couldn't have technically put her body in the boot because they were being watched by press 24/7. So I don't quite understand that one either.
Yeah, I do think about that because they would have been seen.
The scent was even found on pieces of Kate's clothing, one of Madeleine's t-shirts, and even 2 Cuddle Cat. But then that doesn't make sense because apparently Cuddle Cat was washed, so I think that one's...
Yeah, but it was definitely found on her trousers. I know that much. And it was the scent of death, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So to me, that just says the parents had something to do with it.
Then the last theory about sex trafficking. I believe also that she could have been sold to another family, and they know that, and they know where she is, and they know who she's living with.
I don't believe
for money,
that
and they've sold her to an infertile couple, and because they only ever wanted 2 children. They even said after Madeleine disappeared, we only ever wanted 2 children. We never wanted 3. But because obviously the second 2 were twins. So
why would you say that?
I mean, they probably didn't mean it like we didn't want her, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but why would you say that when one's gone missing? It's a bit messed up.
So it's possible they went to Portugal to meet the negotiation with someone who was from another country, and they also met in Portugal, and that's where they did the negotiation deals. And they left the back door open on purpose so this person could come in. There would be no DNA of this person. They left them enough time to get on a boat and get out of the country, and this was the man who was carrying them in the arms. They left them enough time to get on a boat and get out before they called the police, which is why there's 45 minutes between her calling the police and not. And then this is why they paid the mortgage with the charity money. Because they're profiting, and that's why she's written a book on it and everything. And they know their daughter is out there living out safe with another family. That's why they don't seem distraught. That's why they don't shed a tear, because deep down they know she's fine. And they do secretly care for her. It's just all for money and stuff.
That's so messed up, man.
Because there was a thing I read a couple of years ago about a family in Canada with a girl exactly like Madeleine who had been in contact with Madeleine's family. Or something like that.
So why didn't they research into that?
Don't know. I personally think that makes sense. That's why it took so long. And that's why there was no break-in either. They left the door. And obviously how stupid you have to be to leave the door open. And it's the perfect distraction and in between Kate and Jerry's
checks.
And that's why she says they've taken her by mistake. Instead of she's gone. Does that not make sense?
It does make sense.
That's why they walk her down to the beach. The man is seen to be, well, it could be anyone. The man collects her from the apartment, takes her down to the beach. Then all they've got to do is wait. They agree a time. So they've obviously agreed times with their friends. This is what time you check on them. So Jerry, you're going to go at 9:15. Kate, you're going to go at 10 o'clock. So you're going to take her at 9:30. After Jerry supposedly checked on her and before Kate goes and checks.
So messed up though.
And then that is the perfect thing, and that she's been this infertile couple have bought her, so they get money from that, and they also get any money that they're launching off the whole thing.
But why Madeleine though? Why not one of the twins?
Because she's older and she's at the perfect age to sell her. They're an infertile couple, and also because maybe they don't want to split the twins up.
True. That would make sense as to why they didn't take all 3 children as well.
Because it was an all-planned agreement. And that's why it happened on holiday, not in their own home, because they've agreed to meet in Portugal, and this family's from Canada or wherever else, and they've flown to Portugal to do the negotiation in Portugal.
But then that still doesn't explain the scent of death and all this, and why she washed the toy and...
No, it doesn't.
Unless
but she could have washed the toy because, I guess, I don't know.
What, she got it dirty?
No, to get rid of the DNA of who they're paying to take her away.
Maybe.
Or the whole paedophile thing, I believe strongly. About them like allowing a paedophile to go in there.
Okay, so the thing I believe as well...
There's also a thing about a chef.
There's this thing about these 2 paedophiles that I can't remember their names, that they were friends with, who lived round the corner from where they were staying. 2 like known sex offenders and stuff. But I just think, why would they not have been investigated? Because I never heard anything about them.
A lot of them were, like
today.
the chef they had dinner with, they weren't allowed to have any contact with him because he was under investigation.
Yeah.
Fuck up the case. This is what it says on this strike, let me tell you. There's huge speculation that Madeleine was simply a pawn to her parents. She was born and raised simply to be sold into trafficking. That Madeleine was groomed until she was the right age for a paedophile willing to pay big money to have her. There's interviews with Kate McCann speaking about how round and compact Madeleine was as a baby. In her book, she talks about Madeleine's personal genitals. So I asked Jerry apprehensively if he'd have any really horrible thoughts or visions of Madeleine. He nodded. Hatingly, I told him about the awful pictures that scrolled from my head of her body, her perfect little genitals torn apart. Which isn't normal, either, to talk about something like that.
No.
Make a book about it. Then in the home video that Jerry is recording, he keeps zooming in on Madeleine and goes, "Ah, yes," and it's like, "Smile for daddy," and makes Madeleine twirl around and keep smiling at him while he's being so creepy. I can't find the video anywhere, so he hasn't linked it. And police told Jerry and Kate not to release a photo of Madeleine with her eye deformity showing because of if she was kidnapped, her unique mark might scare her abductor into killing her because she was easy to identify. But what did they do? Make this poster for the case, right with the black rectangle on her iris. And Jerry even was caught talking about how the photo was a good marketing ploy. Now here's the big thing. A famous chef by the name of Sir Clement Furod lived in the island not far from the resort where the McCanns were staying. Not a big deal until you find out he's a beautiful. Maybe that's like a, what would you say that, like a 10-minute drive between his house and the villa. Okay, so why is that such a big deal? Paedophiles live everywhere, right? Well, 2 months after Madeleine went missing, Jerry and Kate went to his house and had dinner with him. They were invited again but weren't allowed to go because they were now suspects in the case. So why would you go and randomly have dinner with this paedophile? Your mum's have to do all of this.
Up.
Do you know what I mean?
If they're friends with a paedophile,
even if the chef invites, like, "Oh, you've had a horrible time, come over to my house for dinner," wouldn't you think, why is this random man just inviting us out to dinner? Why would dinner make anything better than outdoors? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people think it was planned. They invited all their other rich friends and families to come on vacation with them to the resort near their customer, the chef, so that a high amount of kids would act as camouflage. So this way, when or if Madeleine disappeared, they could pay it off as not being able to watch a kid 24/7. They then went to the tackle bar and gave the chef the signal to make the payment and go to their apartment to do as he pleased to Madeleine, but he got too heated and murdered her. Which is why they'd leave the door open for him, so he wouldn't have to break in and there'd be no traces of him in the flat.
That's so messed up.
Or that he took her, I mean, it doesn't mean he just went in and did what he did to her. But Jerry was going so long watching football was because he was clearing up Chef's maths, and when he returned, Kate left and then returned making a scene to set up the idea that Madeleine had been taken. But I do find it really odd that he was gone for like ages when he first checked on her, and in between that time that he checked and he was gone for a while. So what's that? Like, that's what, a 20-minute time gap for this man's come in and taken one of your children?
Yeah.
And if a man took your child, and apparently she was screaming for an hour before that anyways, and if she wasn't drugged, you'd hear her screaming if she was taken by someone. If they claims that they didn't drug her or anything, if she was taken by an abductor, wouldn't she scream?
Yeah, you would have heard something.
And she was drugged, because why would the twins wake up if she was abducted? Wouldn't she scream or she'd cry? The twins would wake up, or one of the other kids or one of the other villas somewhere would have heard something, but no one heard anything. Or why she was taken, not one of the twins, when the twins are younger and easier to get away with her. But I don't know, I definitely think the dad killed her.
I don't know, but the Netflix documentary, I feel like, was really trying to paint the parents
biased.
as innocent.
Yeah, it's biased.
It really was.
Biased.
Even though I don't understand why the parents didn't want it made then. If it was painting them in a good light.
And also the fact that they're like, "Oh, I didn't want it made," maybe because it's like, we just don't want things being brought up or anything. She wrote a fucking book about it, so...
Yeah.
As if she doesn't want a fucking...
That wasn't even that long ago, was it, that she read that book?
It's disgusting. Apparently they're discussing to stop funds for it or not. They've already spent 11 million on it, and everyone's thinking, well, why aren't they spending it on other missing kids? And if it's got too
Yeah, but there's no offence, but they haven't found her by now. Even with pictures and stuff, no one knows what she looks like now. How are you going to be able to tell?
And 11 million is just like, they could have spread that between so many other missing kids.
Yeah, you should bring up the priest thing, that they made a confession, because I hadn't heard
So I read
about
this on Twitter. They went to a priest and confessed something, and this is literally what I heard on Twitter. If you search into it, you'll probably find it. Oh, sorry. The priest was questioned by the police, it's too much of a word for, about what McCann confessed, and he tells them he'll take the secret to the grave. He will never tell anyone what they confessed. And some people believe that they killed her, took her to the church, buried her at the church, or hid her at the church, which would explain why in the documentary they say how they somehow got her body away, because maybe they took it to the church and somehow managed to sneak it to the car. That's where she was kept for so long, and the priest knows that.
I don't think maybe they took her to the church, but I think that they definitely confessed to the priest that they killed her or something. But then why would you even risk that? Because I know that priests are sworn to God or whatever, and they're not supposed to tell. But surely there have been situations where priests have spilled to the police. Surely.
I don't know, but it's weird because maybe, I don't know, I'm not saying it is planned, but they're in a foreign country, they don't trust this priest. Also, what chance is it that this priest in Portugal speaks that much English and understands every word they're saying?
That's true. And like, if you were really guilty, right, and it's such a high profile case and they're guilty and they've killed her and all this, and they've gone through this much effort, why have they then gone to a priest and admitted it all? Unless they just admitted something small, like, oh, I don't know,
we did drug her,
we never checked on the kids at all, or and we're all lying to make us look less negligent.
The times don't add up in how called the police, because
yeah, maybe they weren't even checking on the kids. Maybe they were completely neglectful and they literally just forgot about them the entire night, and they didn't even notice she was missing till they all went home. Maybe they're just lying completely.
That's why the friends are lying as well, because they don't get shit either.
Yeah, because they don't want to be like, yeah, we also left our kids alone the entire night when someone was abducted.
It also makes you wonder why all these kids in all these different apartments were left by themselves and they just went to Maddie randomly. I mean, it could have been any one of them, and I could be saying that like, oh, do you know what I mean? But you know what I mean. I understand why an abductor would take the older one, because she can speak more. If he were to take one of the twins and Maddie were witnesses, she could speak about it. Do you see what I mean? But
oh yeah, I guess so.
But
and they wouldn't remember it either because they're so young.
And some people saying it was a gang. Why would a gang only go for Maddie? Surely they'd go for all three of them.
Yeah, because if it was a gang, they could have. And if it was that easy to sneak out one child silently and nobody knows, they could have done it with three easily.
Also, the twins, if they did something to all three of them, Maddie's the only one that could say shit about it afterwards, which is why they took her after. I mean, everyone believes her parents did it, apart from a couple of people I've seen on Twitter.
I do see a few people on Twitter and they're like, if you still... I saw a tweet earlier and I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh god.
It was like,
they will know.
If you still believe the parents did it, you're mentally ill. And I was like,
that's just because Netflix
you've been
manipulated.
Don't
let that biased documentary make you think otherwise.
Everyone in that documentary was defending them. Every single one of them. Like, no one even entertained the idea that the parents might have done it.
They even brought up the fact that the body language thing is because they don't want to shed too much emotion out of, like, welfare for Maddie, but then he went against all the other welfare things, like not sharing a picture of her, or, you know, see what I mean?
There are so many other things they did to ruin the case. I don't think anybody will ever know what happened to her, to be honest.
I think maybe one day, even, like, I believe if Jerry did it, Jerry will die eventually and Kate maybe come out with something in her old age.
Maybe, but I doubt it. I don't think anybody will ever know what happened to that girl. I really don't.
Or if the parents are guilty, they'll do something to the twins eventually and then something else will outbreak. I mean, I don't think they're that stupid, but...
No, I think if they're smart enough to pull it off for this long, I mean...
I don't know, I think there could be something behind it, the twins.
Obviously, this is all allegedly, these are all just theories, we have no idea.
In the documentary on the news thing, where Jerry's sister is literally just sat there and they ask her about, like, what do you think of them being cute? She's just like, yeah, I mean, it's not really like, it's not on, is it? Like, and she just sits there, like, very casually, she doesn't seem upset, she's got, like, full face of makeup, she's got nice clothes on, in a nice BBC interview, like, yeah, I mean, the ordeal they're going through, and to accuse them of that, it's just... I mean, she doesn't even, like, she's not saying it's disgusting. She's not, like, really angry about it. She's just like...
It's all really weird.
It is very
weird. Which makes
weird.
me kind of believe your theory
and the fact that they're
just,
doctors is even weirder.
It kind of makes me believe your theory that they just made her up, but then I'm like, that's too
I have a
far-fetched.
feeling they made her up.
That's too far-fetched. Because they've
And
got
she never
video of her
existed.
and everything.
Could be faked.
How?
It could be. Just
not back then. Back now we have technology where they could do that.
I don't know, there are things, I think
Maybe
she could have been...
the technology we have now.
She could have been made up and all these friends are in it. And that's why they don't find her as well as well as so many traps in there. I mean, I don't really believe that one, but it's possibly.
I haven't finished watching the documentary yet, but first of all, I think it was wrong to make one in the first place. When I first heard about it, I genuinely thought it was just fake news. I didn't.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
I really didn't think one was actually coming out. So when my friend was like to me the other day at work, "Oh, you're going to watch the Madeleine McCann documentary on Netflix?" I was expecting to go on Netflix, and for a while I couldn't even find it. It wasn't on their trending page or anything. But then today it came up on the front screen, and I was like, "Oh damn, it's a real thing." Like, I genuinely thought it was just one of them things people believe on the internet. Because I always see that stupid stuff going around, like, oh, there's a Friends remake and all this. No matter how many years go by, I don't think you should be making jokes about it or putting it in Cards Against Humanity or...
No, that is really sick.
I don't ever find it funny and I don't get it.
I didn't even realise it was a Madeleine McCann card until we were playing it at Josh's friend's house and she pulls out the Madeleine McCann card, and I was like, what?
Yeah, legit, like, it's bad, man. Personally, I didn't think the documentary was too great. I fell asleep during it like twice.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know.
I think they talk about a lot of unrelated stuff. Like, they start going into the history of the resort and stuff, and I'm like, why do we need to know this? Like, this has no relevance. I don't get it.
They just like contradict each other. Like, everyone that sat there, like one of them sat there saying, "Oh, this is a lie," and the other one saying, "No, it was our match," and blah blah.
I just think even Twitter's doing a better job at coming up with theories and stuff and evidence than they are. They've left a lot of stuff out that Jessica's bringing up to me, and I'm like, wait, this wasn't in the documentary.
But some of these, I didn't believe these theories because I'm thinking these all seem far-fetched that people have made up on Twitter, and then some of the things actually match, like him not being her dad in the documentary, and then I actually believe them.
Yeah. I just feel like the documentary, I thought it was going to give you some information we didn't know.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's been years, so I'm thinking they've had £11 million. Surely they've got more information, that's why they're putting it into Netflix.
How much did they spend?
So that if anybody knows anything, they can come forward. But the documentary literally just looks like anybody could have put it together. Like, Shane Dawson could have freaking put it together. There's no new information.
It's just the people from the actual...
They're using clips from the news that I saw years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing new in there, really.
It just basically takes you for a timeline of events of how they investigated it. That's basically it.
Yeah, and they were going through quite a lot of the same stuff. Like, they mentioned the guy carrying the child 1 million times in it, and I'm like, okay, but can you explore some other theories? Like, what if the sighting's not even true? What if she didn't even see a man?
In Portugal, was there no CCTV between the villa and the beach?
That's true, actually.
You do not think?
I've never thought about that before.
They have CCTV everywhere. Everywhere you go, or on any of the traffic light stops. So if the dad had dumped her in the rental car, you'd see the rental car going past the CCTV. There'd be some kind of camera somewhere within the villa and the beach.
Then this did happen a long time ago when we were children. Maybe there wasn't
it
that
was
much
back in
CCTV.
what, 2003? Yeah, but there must have been something somewhere. Whether it's shop camera or
because I know
traffic light camera.
There was one girl that was spotted in a shop with a couple or something,
and she
was acting strangely, and she matched the description.
Yeah, I saw this.
And she was acting really weird. But then there was also another sighting of a girl with like a woman
in the mountain.
So I don't know. The documentary, in my opinion, not great. I haven't finished it yet, so maybe that's not a great opinion to have. But
everyone on Twitter is just saying it's infuriating them because it's defending the parents.
It's also infuriating me because now it's dragged it back up when I'd forgotten about it years ago, and now I want to know what happened to her.
Yeah.
And I'm so annoyed by it. But I remember when I was younger, this was a huge thing. Still is.
I don't understand why it's so big. The reason it's so big compared to other missing children, though, is because there's holes in the gap that people believe that.
It literally makes no sense. We mean no offence or anything like this. It's all
no
speculation.
Disrespect.
No disrespect. Let me know your theories down below. What you thought of the documentary.
I'll also put this on my channel, so
sure.
Chuck a comment in there.
We're just going to upload the same video but different editing.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. We'll link both of our channels in the description down below. Subscribe to the both of us.
No, but this is no way of getting views either, just talking about...
Oh, no. I've seen a lot of good channels. I'll link this really good channel. I can't remember her name, but I'll find it.
The channel Conspiracies?
Yeah, she does conspiracies and stuff on missing children. That might sound really messed up to you that there's a channel dedicated to that, but she does it really respectfully and intelligently, and it does make you look at things in a different way that you've never considered before. She's really smart and it's entertaining to watch. I know, given the circumstances, it's like...
That sounded pretty horrible.
But like... it gives you a new perspective that you've never thought about before, so I'll link her down below because she's really good at that kind of stuff. Yeah, just do some research yourself. Don't believe everything you read on the internet though, I will say that.
But the thing is, there's so many conspiracy theories about Madeleine McCann, but there's a gap in every single one of them.
Well, yeah,
any contradictions in every
that's why it's
so
famous.
I know.
So we're going to go now. Thank you for watching. You can like, comment and subscribe, and yeah, I'll link Jessica down below. Okay, peace.